Hi everybody, I'm Mike Biana and this is Coffee Talk. As the summer months approach and the South Florida sun somehow manages to get even hotter, the name of the game becomes how do we properly prepare to prevent ourselves from getting too hurt by the sun? Joining us at the coffee table today to discuss some ways to protect yourself from the rays is Dr. Luis Gutierrez from Coral Gables Hospital. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi Mike, how you doing?
I'm good. Well, it is a little bit hot and it's only getting hotter. And it seems to me that 90% of the time here in South Florida, it's like it's summer. Now, all jokes aside, it can be really harmful to be out in the sun all the time. And there are some serious consequences. Can you tell me about some of the consequences from exposure from the sun's rays?
Definitely. Like you said, the sun could be very harmful, especially for your skin. You could start with maybe having a simple sunburn. It's like a first-degree burn, but then it can get a little bit worse, and you could even develop second-degree burns. Also, we all know about the changes in the skin, like wrinkles and things like that happen to your skin from the sun, and the risk of cancer coming from the sun. Sometimes we don't realize that, but it's a big problem. So, like melanomas and basal cell carcinomas and squamous cell carcinomas, all those things can happen from the sun. Another thing with the sun is that you have to be careful if you stay too much on the sun, because you can become dehydrated. And
So there's a total array here of consequences, everything from sunburns to skin cancer and, like you said, dehydration.
Well, the dehydration, you have to drink a lot of water. First thing is water. Water is the cheapest way, is the better thing, is easiest. You have it available everywhere. So drink water. Don't wait until to get dehydrated. You start drinking water as soon as you feel kind of weak, and even if you are outside, you should be drinking water like every 20 minutes and things like that. You should drink about 8 ounces of water and things like that, because you can get dehydrated very easily without even noticing.
So it's obviously really important to drink the water before you're even dehydrated.
No, to drink the water. You want to avoid getting dehydrated. You want to avoid becoming, that it's a progressive progression, with heat exhaustion, and then you can develop a syncope and even heat stroke.
Right.
Usually heat stroke is rare, thanks God, because people could die of heat stroke. But heat exhaustion is very common. Probably it's more common than what we think, because people develop a lot of cramps, a lot of nausea, lightheadedness, and usually the heat affects more the children, and the elderly are more susceptible to these heat conditions.
So what you're saying there really is drink the water before you even think about stepping outside in the summertime.
Right.
Yes, and something that I really want to touch on there that you brought up is really important to me is that the younger kids and the elderly are more susceptible. Why is that, and what are some extra steps that they can take so that they don't get dehydrated or face heat exhaustion or any other things that might happen to them under the sun?
Well, in the children's, the parents should be aware of all this, and don't bring the children, to the sun for a long period of time.
Right.
They can keep them. They have to be very short amount of time on the sun. Especially if they are infants, or in the month, 15, 20 minutes. Then they can go into the shadows and stay cool, so they don't develop any problem, because their thermoregulatory centers in the brain are not well developed yet. The elderly is the opposite. The elderly have to be careful about because usually they're working in the yard, they're doing things, they are gardening,
right.
and then that's when they run into trouble. And some of the medications that they are taking may affect the thermoregulatory centers in the brain, and then the body is unable to adjust to this heat and to this condition.
Right, and so again, it's summertime in the Sunshine State, and everybody wants to be out at the beach, at the park,
Definitely.
at the theme parks. Everybody wants to have some fun, especially now with the kids coming out of school.
I remember I used to live in Miami Beach, and we used to be in the sun all the time.
Yes.
We used to be in the pool. We used to work as a pool boy here and there.
Yeah.
I lost a friend of mine at about the age of 30 from melanoma.
Wow.
He used to work on the beach. He used to work on the pool, and he developed melanoma on his head.
Wow.
So he didn't even was able to pick it up soon enough. So this thing may happen in a long run too.
Yeah, so that's really tough. So it's not just the short-term effects, but also the long-term effects.
The long-term effect.
Right. Now, so if you are going to be outside, there are some precautionary methods that you can take. So you can put on sunscreen or sun lotion. What other things can you do while you're out there?
You can put a hat. You can put a hat, cover your head. Melanomas are very frequent in the scalp. You can wear sometimes, cover yourself, light clothes. You can wear light clothes because that doesn't attract the heat that much. And you know, stay outside for a short period of time. You know, if you're working on the garden, the people, the elderly people, sometimes work on the garden. They stay there shorter period of time. Go inside the house, cool off for a little bit, then come out again. And also you can drink some sports drink, you know, because they have sodium. Because if you drink water alone, you're not incorporating the sodium
you're not
into
accounting for that, right? You're losing the salt and the sodium through your skin.
So
through your
sometimes
sweat,
you need to put some sodium in there.
Being outside for long periods of time, like you said, you could end up with heat exhaustion or something like that. So what are some ways to tell that someone is going through heat exhaustion or even something like a heat stroke?
Well, you are thirsty. You become a little bit lightheaded. You develop abdominal cramps, leg cramps. And at that point, you should say, hold on, let me go and cool off because this could get much worse.
And if it's something more serious than that, what steps can people take to maybe go to the doctor, go to the hospital?
Well, what usually happens is that then these people are going to feel very dizzy, lightheaded. They're going to faint. And then they develop like a syncope, a heat syncope. Then at that time, rescue is called, and they are taking you to the emergency department. That's where we are. And once we hydrate them, they come into a cold environment, cool off and hydrate them, they start getting better. If that progress to heat stroke, then you're talking about big problem. Also, the person, when they have heat exhaustion and heat syncope, they sweat and they don't have a temperature. When you get into heat stroke, you stop sweating. Your skin becomes dry.
Too hot. You're overheated now.
Right. You get confused.
Wow.
And you can die. It's very, very critical.
Now, I know this is a really serious topic, but, you know, summer is a fun time. And so people are outside, they're enjoying the festivities, especially 4th of July, things like that. So I know fireworks, for example, are very important to the 4th of July celebration. A lot of people use them. In terms of being safe with using fireworks, what are some precautionary steps that people can take when handling fireworks?
Well, first of all, I think they should know about them, how the fireworks work, how do they function, what are the different types. They can get a burn, they can get too close by and they can explode, or when they fire them, they can hit somebody in the eye or different things like that. And they could cause a fire. You know, it's dangerous. The children should not left unattended. They should have supervision. It's serious stuff. 4th of July is like all this is a time to have fun, but you gotta have fun in a smart way.
You gotta be careful.
Be careful. You gotta be careful. Well, the summertime is beautiful. It's a nice time to have fun, but you gotta be careful. And the 4th of July, in my experience, is one of the worst weekends for accidents and all that.
So remember, while you celebrate the summer, have fun, but be safe.
Be safe.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, pleasure.
That'll do it for this edition of Coffee Talk. I'm Mike Biana. We'll talk to you soon.